Okay, let's dive into a book that has become a true global phenomenon, Atomic Habits by James Clear. I mean, there are tons of books about habits out there, right? So what makes this one book stand out so much from all the rest? Well, let's get into it.
First off, let's just talk about the sheer scale here. This book has sold over 20 million copies around the world. To put that into perspective for you, that is more than the entire population of the state of New York. Just wow.
And this isn't some flash in the pan either. Atomic Habits has been on the New York Times bestseller list for 260 weeks in a row. That's 5 straight years of being one of the most popular nonfiction books on the entire planet.
Which, brings us to the big question we're going to tackle in this explainer. What is the secret sauce here? What's actually inside this book that connects with so many millions of people?
The book's success really kicks off with its core philosophy. It's super simple, but also pretty profound, and it all boils down to 3 key lessons. And the first one is all about the power of thinking small. So here's the foundational idea. We are constantly overestimating the importance of these huge defining moments, and at the same time, we're dramatically underestimating the value of making small improvements every single day. It's not about some big revolution, it's about daily evolution. And the math on this is just staggering. If you get just 1% better at something each day for a year, you won't be 365% better, you'll be 37 times better. That is the incredible power of compounding, but applied directly to your own life.
Now, this second lesson, it's a total game changer, especially if you've ever failed a New Year's resolution. The book argues that goals are actually kind of overrated. Instead of being obsessed with the finish line, we should be obsessed with our process, the systems that are going to get us there. Because if your system is good, the results, they'll just take care of themselves. And the third, and honestly, maybe the most powerful lesson is all about identity. See, the goal isn't just to do a new thing, it's to become a new person. And the process is actually pretty simple. First, you decide who you want to be. You want to be an athlete, a writer? Then you just start proving it to yourself with tiny wins. Every small action you take is like casting a vote for that new identity.
So that's the philosophy, the why. But what about the how? How do you actually do all this stuff? Well, let's get into the practical framework that makes this book so easy to use. It's all built on the science of what's called the habit loop. Our brain basically runs on this simple 4-step pattern. There's a cue, then a craving, then a response, and finally a reward. Literally every single habit you have, good or bad, follows this exact cycle. So if you can understand the loop, you can learn to control it.
And this slide right here, this is where the book becomes your personal toolkit. Clear basically reverse engineers that habit loop into 4 simple laws. To build a good habit, you need to make the cue obvious, the craving attractive, the response easy, and the reward satisfying. And if you want to break a bad habit, you just flip it. Make it invisible, unattractive, difficult, and unsatisfying. So simple, right? But incredibly powerful.
Now, in our digital world, it was pretty much inevitable that these principles would get turned into an app. So let's take a look at how this whole philosophy translates right into your pocket.
The official Atoms app is basically a direct application of the 4 laws. It helps you make your habits obvious with smart reminders, and it makes them attractive by showing you all these cool progress insights as you go.
The app even figures out a way to tackle that 4th law, make it satisfying. When you log a habit you've completed, you get this really rewarding sensory experience. There's cool visual feedback and even a little haptic buzz. And that immediate bit of satisfaction, that is absolutely key to locking in that habit loop.
Okay, so this all sounds great in a book or on an app, but here's the real question. Does it actually work in the real world? Especially when things get stressful. Let's take a look at the data.
A 2024 study did exactly that. Researchers at the University of Southern Maine set up a program for a group of acute care nurses. I mean, we're talking about one of the most demanding jobs out there. And the whole program was based on these very principles of habit formation.
And the results were, well, they were remarkable. The biggest improvements were in areas tied directly to burnout. There was a more than 30% jump in living a healthy lifestyle and in the ability to actually disconnect from work. But it didn't stop there. They also felt more satisfied with their hobbies and even their careers. This is just clear proof that these small, systematic changes can deliver huge results, even in the toughest environments.
So, after digging into the philosophy, the framework, and the real-world proof, what's the one big idea you should really walk away with?
It all comes down to this really powerful quote from the book. Real meaningful change doesn't need some radical overhaul. Every tiny habit, every small decision you make, it's a piece of evidence you're giving yourself that you are becoming that new person.
And that brings the whole question right back to you. This isn't about completely reinventing your life by tomorrow. It's about finding one small thing. So the only question left is this: what 1% vote are you going to cast for the person you want to become today?